Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the elections are over and we now know who will be governor for the next term. Plus, we also have the results of local elections and other turnouts. Good morning, I'm Chas Gayhart. It is 4:59 on Wednesday, November 8th. Let's go over and check in with Brandon this morning. It's another mild morning after a long and I'm sure a long night for a lot of people.
Yes. But this is why you get out of the news business. It's election day, the news business. There's no short days for anybody. But yes, very long day yesterday, and it's turning into a decent morning for now. But Chas, unfortunately, I think we're going to see some wind and some record warmth today, or near record warmth. Let's take a look across our region this morning, and you see not a whole lot going on. They've changed the angle of the camera over at Pikeville there, US 119, US 23. It's just looking down the road just a little bit, and everybody else just a touch of fog. Temperatures, that is the big story, but it's that Ridge Valley split again. A little bit cooler than yesterday, but still 40s and 50s out there. No 30s this morning, no 60s. 57 Jackson, the warmest spot in our region right now. 52 Prestonsburg, Harlan. 46 Manchester. 45 Grundy. 46 Grundy, rather, 45 in Clintwood, and 48 in Irvin. So a little bit on the cooler side out there this morning. Out the door forecast, I do believe we see a little bit of fog and a few clouds this morning, but the fire danger continues to stay high, and we could break or tie some records a little bit later on today if we get close to our daytime high. Jazz?
Thanks, Brandon. Governor Andy Beshear will serve another 4 years in Frankfort as Kentucky's governor. Beshear defeated Attorney General Daniel Cameron last night. Here is a closer look at the numbers in the governor's race. Governor Beshear won about 53% of the vote to Cameron's 47%. The governor won counties that were hit hardest by flood last year: Breathitt, Perry, Knott, Letcher, and Floyd. Here's what he has to say about the results.
The people of Kentucky elected me as just the third two-consecutive term governor in our history. But folks, this wasn't my win. This was our victory.
Daniel Cameron started his concession speech by joking that the race didn't turn out exactly how he wanted. He went on to thank his wife, mother, and supporters. He said ultimately he and Governor Beshear want the same things for Kentucky.
And so, as I did with Governor Beshear, I want all of us to think about what these next few decades will look like. And I ask that you pray for Governor Beshear and his team.
As for what is next for Cameron, he talked about his faith and following God's plans. Several state races were also on the ballot. Republicans swept all of them, including Michael Adams, reelected as Secretary of State, and Russell Coleman, who will replace Daniel Cameron as Attorney General. Kentucky will have a new Agriculture Commissioner and State Treasurer. Both Jonathan Schell and Mark Metcalf easily won their respective races. Those two candidates had a victory celebration last night in their hometown of Lancaster. Schell defeated Democrat Sierra Enlow. Both were young candidates, 35 years old. Schell is a farmer and former state representative. Republican Mark Metcalf defeated Michael Bowman. This was Bowman's second loss for treasurer. Allison Ball beat him in 2019. Metcalf is 65 years old and is a Garrett County attorney. It was a big night for one Eastern Kentucky native. In the state auditor's race, Floyd County native and current state treasurer Allison Ball won that race again against Democrat Kim Reeder, a Rowan County native. Ball says she's happy to continue to be what she says is a watchdog.
This is great. I am so proud to be the next auditor of Kentucky. I am proud to represent you and be a watchdog of taxpayer dollars. It has been a tremendous honor to serve you as treasurer. I've gotten to learn a few things in that role, and I am ready to go to do the job as auditor, protect against waste, fraud, and abuse, be there for you, do the job the way it's supposed to be done.
Ball says she's thankful for those that voted for her as well as her campaign team. She says she's looking forward to working with her Republican counterparts. Pike Countyans voted to go back to a magistrate style of government. The county currently has a commissioner-based body with 3 commissioners and a judge executive. One voter spoke with us about how he believes this change could impact the county.
You'd be more able to get something done faster because it would be a smaller form of government. The way it is now, I think it's working fine too. I mean, it's just how someone feels about it.
The measure passed on the ballot with 74% of the votes saying yes to the measure, with only 26 voting against it. And in Pike County, folks hope the three ballot topics that saw some controversy will now contribute to area growth. For voters in Coal Run, the sale of alcohol in the city limits received a yes vote with 74% of the votes compared to 26%. Dr. Johnson Distilleries near the Belfry area voted yes by a margin of 63% to 38%, while the Old Pond area was in support 56% to 44%, allowing both distilleries to sell alcohol on site, which those involved say will only promote growth as the Kentucky Moonshine Trail continues to develop. Pike County was not the only area to have a wet-dry vote yesterday. Martin County voters decided to allow alcohol sales in the city of Inez. Less than 150 voted in that race, but 53% said yes to alcohol sales. Harlan County had a couple of special elections on the ballot. This included 1st District Magistrate after a longtime magistrate died in January. Robert Leo Miller was appointed by the governor and ran against a former magistrate of 17 years, Paul Caldwell. And in the 26th District Court judge position was up for grabs after the former judge resigned to return to private practice. This race was between 3 Harlan County attorneys, Cynthia Renee Allison, Danny Lee Lunsford Jr., and Timothy Jason Jackson. We talked to the 2 winners, Jackson and Caldwell, yesterday.
Just being able to serve my community. Born and raised here. All of my family has always been in the service industries. I went to law school. I was blessed to be able to go to law school and come back here. I've got 2 kids, and I really just want to be able to serve the community.
I just felt like that this is my calling to do, to help people. I've done it all my life, and like I say, I was a magistrate 17 years before, and I just intend to keep working.
We also reached out to the newest loyal City Council member, Richard W. Call, but we did not hear back. And here's a closer look at the results in those races. Paul Caldwell ended with 997 votes to Robert Leo Miller's 702. Timothy Jason Jackson ended the 26th Judicial District Judge vote by 53%, or 2,522 votes. Cynthia Allison followed with 1,343 votes, and Danny Lee Lunsford Jr. had 907 votes. And for the loyal City Council, Richard W. Call ended with 93 votes versus Ashley Bledsoe's 58 votes. Well, thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, we'll take a look at the Supreme Court and the case it heard yesterday about domestic violence and owning a gun.
Forecast continues to stay a little bit on the milder side today, but that increases our forest fire dangers. Those winds go back into full effect later today. We'll tell you all about it coming up in just about 3 minutes.